My next guest is a local doctor who cares a lot about the people of New Bedford and their health. Dr. Michael Rocha is a cardiologist at Hawthorne Medical Associates in Dartmouth, and he has seen firsthand the damage that poor health can do to the human body, and that's why he started wellness walks and wellness initiatives and is inviting area residents to join in. Dr. Rocha, great to see you again.
Jim, good morning. I'm really glad to be here and have this conversation with you today.
Obviously, you started your initiatives based on information. Well, a while ago, a report, I think from Tufts, that said New Bedford was a pretty unhealthy place.
It was. In 2014, there was actually an article in the Standard Times that highlighted the overall health and well-being, and that study actually looks at the group of people that are over 65 in our community, which was about 15,000 people in the city of New Bedford, and unfortunately identified several things that our community needs to work on. And unfortunately, we still have not completely righted the ship, but we've made some inroads to try and get people to recognize that much of our health does not come at the pharmacy, and many of those things we have under control if we're able to live a little healthier. And, both cardiovascular disease, diabetes, pulmonary disease, and cancers, many of those things are preventable, and that should really be where the cure is. The cure, we're kind of searching for the Holy Grail sometimes when the Holy Grail is already there, and many of those things would be prevention as the cure.
Yep, for sure. Your wellness programs that you've created with a lot of help from social media, have they grown? Are people buying in? Is it something you can point to and say, yeah, we've added 50 people over the last year?
Yeah, so the first thing we started was a walk with probably about 20 people. And at this point, thousands of people have walked at both Buttonwood Park and at the mall. And we also started the Sunday program where every week we have anywhere between 30 and 60 people that are participating in various forms of well-being. Sometimes it may be physical well-being and exercise or nutrition or mental well-being. We offer such things as mindfulness and yoga and some other things that we try to make it an even playing field for people. Many of these things would be very expensive for people at a fitness center, but we've tried to be able to meet people where they're at and make this more accessible for those that may not be able to have a fitness card. It may be too expensive for them. But in terms of the growth, we started our Facebook group, and it's now almost 5,000 people deep. And almost every day we have anywhere from 5 to 10 people that join our group. And the nice thing is that the zip codes are all local people that are joining us. And, I think that they're hearing it about, what we're talking about with friends. And we have some really, we almost have some guest bloggers between Dr. John Rady, who talks about exercise and well-being, and my friend Loretta LaRoche, who talks about, again, well-being and stress reduction and laughter being a form of medicine. So we've really had some incredible people and been able to share what's going on at the farmers markets. And so I'm just really grateful that the number of people that are engaging with our posts, engaging with our Facebook and social media has really, really grown over the last year.
It's a process, but in fact, if you're seeing increased numbers, that certainly is heartening. The wellness walks, I might remind folks, happen year-round at Buttonwood Park during the spring and the summer. The walks are happening year-round, but in the spring and summer, it's at the Buttonwood Park Zoo, I think, is where
Correct.
The stepping-off point is, and at the Dartmouth Mall during the winter and the fall, and popular events. Even the indoor walks.
The indoor walks are great. And, I think that in the winter, the biggest challenge for people is the weather's not great. So, the mall, I believe, opens at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we're trying to get people to realize that there are places that you can go to get walking is one of our best exercises. And if you're able to go to the mall and get, a good 20 to 30-minute walk in, that's moderate exercise. And we need to realize that these things don't have to cost a lot of money, and that, these things should be accessible. Unfortunately, sometimes people decide to shop too much, but that's not...
That's not necessarily a healthful initiative.
If they're shopping healthy, that's okay.
So, are you planning some changes for 2018? I know that, you've got a practice to tend to and family and all of that we all have to have, all do have for the most part. So your time can be, I think, pressed to some degree, and so I don't know how you can expand many of these things unless somebody else takes the mantle and runs with it. But what about expansion?
Yeah, so I've started exactly what you said. We've got some more help. I have several doctors that have decided to commit to doing the walks. So we're originally doing our walks once a month, and the plan is to expand that to once a week. And we're part of the International Walk with a Doc program that Dr. David Sabgear started in Ohio, and we're very proud to be part of that. And I'm looking forward to expanding the opportunities we have to walk. The program on Sundays, which continues to run throughout the year, minus a couple of holidays, will transition from the 11 to 3 time that we do right now to 9 to 1. Mm-hmm. And similar activities will be offered, including the aerobics class, which we vary between Zumba and kickboxing and various things such as Pilates as well, mindfulness, yoga. We offer Qigong, nutrition, and we're going to expand to massage therapy twice a month for free. We have a hypnotist that's been coming the third Sunday. He's going to continue on the third Sunday for smoking cessation. Mm-hmm. And we also are very fortunate to have the South Coast Health Van that's going to continue to be there once a month for blood pressure checks, blood sugar checks, cholesterol checks, and also for vaccinations such as the flu shot that people were able to obtain last week. So we're very excited to be doing that, but also we're going to be part of the Fitness Challenge. This year, the Fitness Challenge, New Bedford Fitness Challenge, will be in February. It will coincide with Heart Month, which we have several activities that are going to be parallel with the American Heart Association of Southern New England. And we're going to also partner again with Live Well San Diego for the Love Your Heart program, where we're going to do citywide blood pressure checks on February 13th, which is the Sunday, February 11th, which is the Sunday before Valentine's Day. Our goal is to get 1,000 blood pressure checks because so many people out there don't know that they have high blood pressure, and so many people don't have that treated, and it's a big cause for strokes and heart attacks. Mm-hmm. So we're going to expand, and some of the things that we're doing, we're going to make a couple of adjustments, and we're still looking to hear from the people that are participating or those that aren't participating, and we want to know why they aren't yet or what things that we could offer, and we'll be happy to do that.
You're listening to Dr. Michael Rocha, who was a guest here on Townsquare Sunday. My name is Jim Phillips. Dr. Rocha, what should all of us be doing in our daily lives? There should be a template somewhere for people to go and say, hey, this is what you should be doing, whether you're 25 or 40 years old or 68, whatever. What should we all be doing more or less in our daily lives that would make us feel better, be healthier, and look at life a little more positively?
Yeah. I think that balance is so critical. And when we look at balance, it's the emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being that we all experience. And when any one of those things is out of balance, they interact with one another. Unfortunately, some people think that their physical health, and we in medicine oftentimes treat it as just your physical health is one thing and your emotional well-being or mental health are two different things, but so often they're very much connected to one another. And I think that the ways that we deal with our stress is critically important and actually is the driver of a lot of the maladaptive ways or the bad behaviors, so to speak, or the ones that, don't necessarily help our health. But, I think that when we talk about diet, exercise, stress reduction, avoiding things like smoking, those are really very critical. And 80% of chronic diseases can be attributed to those things. And it's really, it's unfortunate when, as physicians, we're trying to be coaches. We're trying to help people to realize that 20 minutes of exercise is whatever it is, whether it's walking or moving, you like to go to the gym, a sport, something every single day. Eating healthy, again, I think that our grandmothers had it right. Lots of fruits and vegetables, and you need to finish those. And that, the things that we sometimes use as comfort foods are unfortunately, we treat them almost as if they're antidepressants. And so often I hear people talking about them using food as something, to kind of make them feel better. And I think that we should realize that food should be nourishment, and fruits and vegetables are very, very important. Eating, fish is oftentimes important. Mediterranean diet, in a lot of ways, has been studied as being a good way to prevent strokes and heart attacks. And there's been several studies, large studies, not only for people to prevent heart attacks, but those that have had heart attacks to prevent another one. So a Mediterranean diet, which really consists of fruits and vegetables, fish, nuts, avocados, olive oil, so the good fats, some whole grains, and avoiding or limiting things such as sugar, refined grains or white flour products, milk, and some of the other things, to try to kind of put our diets in balance. And in terms of trying to find balances in stress, we understand now that loneliness and connections are so important, and we're starting to realize that those things are actually a disease. And unfortunately, so many people are lonely, so many people are depressed or anxious, and those things are really important because, as I talked about before, our mental well-being affects our physical well-being. And when we see that, sometimes when people are stressed, they start to take care of their bodies or not take care of their bodies, and then it can lead to disease. And I think that unfortunately we undervalue how it's important to find that balance. And, each and every day is a gift, and unfortunately, when I do this job for long enough, I see firsthand how important 1 second to the next people's health can change, and realizing that each day is a gift is incredibly important. In fact, the most important thing I had at hand out in my office is from my dear friend Gilda. She's 93 years old. She still runs the Stone Rooster. I still play in a big band there and a brass band there. But she wrote a script. She actually texted me one night and basically said, you know what? There's ups and downs in life. It's important to take care of your body. It's important to know who your friends are. It's critically important not to act your age and be grateful for what you have. And I think that gratitude is so undervalued at times, because we see things through a very negative filter at times when so many things are right. We can look at individually, but collectively in our community, though there are so many wonderful things. And if we start to focus more on those things, it will not only help our individual health, but it will help the health of our community. I want to see a Live Well New Bedford, or a Greater New Bedford, or a Live Well South Coast, or whatever way we want to put it, and that we're picking one another up, because that is what I think is really possible for this community.
Dr. Rocha, first of all, those were not New Year's resolutions. What that is, what he just told us, was a plan for your life to start now. All of us should start now. Thinking like that, eating like that. Yeah, an occasional treat. Yeah.
Right.
Everything in moderation. That's always been kind of the watchword. And I think, but really, changing how you live is all, and how you eat is all very important. And we shouldn't be waiting for the new year to kind of do that. We should be
right. And people should just be, several times there's been some nice posts for the American Heart Association that talk about just being mindful, not to be party poopers, so to speak, at this time of year, but just to be aware if we're making choices before it becomes a habit that's out of control, and then you're trying to lose 10 pounds or trying to exercise, at the beginning of the year. Enjoy things along the way, but not to excess. And I think that that's what you said, moderation at this time of year is incredibly important. It really is.
You're a busy guy. Your practice, your musical talents, which we haven't talked enough about, I don't think, but you do play a trombone. And anything else besides trombone?
Trombone, that's one of my forms of mental health. I'm also involved in coaching my sons, which I really, truly enjoy. For me, basketball has been a part of my life since I was a little guy, and now that my children are now 11 and 14, it's really been a joy to be involved in their basketball development and in the development of several of the teams that I've had the opportunity to coach. It's really a lot of fun.
When I was on television and cable, I believe Mike Rocha was playing high school basketball.
That's right,
but I don't think you won a title.
We did.
You did win a title.
In fact, it was 25 years ago, and actually we're going to have a January 26th, New Bedford High School basketball game. There's going to be an event to recognize the 25th anniversary of the 1993 state title.
Well, there you go. And there was, I get lost. I'm a New Bedford guy, but I get lost with all those Durfee titles that came about the same time there. I'm not quite sure the years, but so I wanted to make sure that you were part of a championship team, because I thought you were, but I didn't really know.
Yeah, it was a fun year, and the things that I learned on the basketball court were just as important as the things that I learned in the classroom. And playing as a team, playing hard, the value of being a good teammate, and actually also to be a good sport. So I really valued that experience that I had. Dr.
Michael Rocha has been my guest. He's a cardiologist at Hawthorne Medical Associates and the man behind the wellness initiatives in the city of New Bedford. You can see them all over social media and check it all out. Merry Christmas, Dr. Rocha. Happy New Year and a healthy year as well.
Thank you, and same to you, and same to all the listeners.
That's it for this week's edition of Townsquare Sunday. This program heard every Sunday at 6 a.m., 1420 WBSM. It can be accessed on our website, WBSM.com, as well. My thanks to production assistant Brian Rose for getting this program on the air, and digital editor Casey Sylvia for posting the interviews on the website. I'm Jim Phillips. Have a wonderful week and a great Sunday.